back with Stephanie Nielsen. She is a plane crash survivor and the author of the blog The Nini Dialogues, which is read by millions of people. Joined by her husband now, Christian Nielsen, who has also survived the plane crash. We were talking about you seeing your wife for the first time in the hospital. What was it like for you? Were you afraid to see yourself?
Yeah, out my own eyes, I felt totally fine, but I knew the way that people were looking at me. I could tell that something wasn't right. And in the burn centers, they don't usually have mirrors around because they kind of want you to wait until you're ready to look at yourself. But I never got to that point, and so they were saying to me, it's time to look at yourself, you know, you need to see what your children are going to see. And I didn't want to do it. It was awful.
You still see yourself the way, because I still see, I look sometimes in the mirror, and I'm like, whoa, you have gone downhill quickly. I still see myself younger. You kind of just, you're always kind of 19 in your head when your children saw you. And you.
You know, obviously my facial injuries were not as serious as Stephanie's, but
Did it help your children get prepared? Because you're burned on your legs too, right?
Yeah, and so our legs and arms, and so they saw my injuries, and I think that did probably help them understand what they were going to see with their mom. Maybe, maybe not, but they, I don't think that they, and we tried and prepared and as much as we could with the children, but it was almost all in vain. There was no real effective way of helping them understand what that was going to be like.
I understand that you're a protector now. That when you are out in public, I heard you say that you have heard people in the supermarket and children say things less than kind.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
Oh, the children are children, and they're just being honest. They're okay. It's the adults that I think, I'm shocked that you would say something, you know, that hurtful.
What are you, adults say?
Yeah, ladies at the grocery store will say, oh, I feel as bad as you look. You know, just, you know, things that you're like, oh, thanks so much. That was, you know, just things like that that are, I think, oh my, didn't your mother teach you better than that? And so I think I'm using this more in hopes that my children won't be as careless and rude to people. And so in a way, yeah, it hurts me, but what an opportunity to teach my own little children, you know, how to treat people, that we love people, we respect people. It doesn't matter what they look like, you know, we're all people. And
who are you guys? Because we met, and I'm so sad to say that most of my meetings are at a very high velocity.
Sad.
I know.
No, I know there was a big, huge, long line waiting.
But we met in Arizona, right?
It was in Utah.
It was in Utah.
Yeah.
It was at the Freedom Festival.
You were hosting the Freedom Festival in Utah.
Oh my gosh. And we met, and what were you like as a couple before, and what did you have that prepared you for this?
We're just the same, really, just the same, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, and I think that the love that we have now is the same love we had then, and that is what helped prepare us for this tragedy. And I think that a lot of the people who are experts in the burn world and the healing arts, the doctors and the physicians and the nurses. A lot of them had some experience that, you know, a lot of times marriages don't work out after.
A lot of times, I would imagine, most times.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with the scars here or here, but the scars inside. Be honest. You have to both be kicking yourself for getting on the plane. Whoever said, let's go to the ranch this weekend. You wanted to be a pilot. I didn't hear you say get out. You got out. Whatever the deception or the lie is that is running through your head had to have played out. Had to have.
Well, I mean, there were.
Sure, I felt guilty for getting in the airplane because why did I do that?
Because
My
of the
children. You know, my children they're going to be motherless or they're going to have a mother
So
who's
in
crazy.
pain and with everything, the stress of life, come on. Come on, really?
No,
There's no time that you guys have, and I'm not saying I'm saying you're being human. You never at some point said either to each other or to God, why? None of it?
You know, it's an interesting thing. I think what you're getting at is, you know, condemning the situation and
Or
that we
even
felt like
your
we were-
own guilt
Yeah.
inside
Well, it's easy to-
for something that you didn't have. There's no guilt there.
We decided early on that we wanted to be burn survivors, not burn victims. And it's you know, it's a little bit, it's semantics, but it's meaningful in how we deal with our problems. And we wanted to be, we often corrected people about you know, calling us victims of our injuries, but we survived our injuries. We're alive today. We are with our family. We still
May I
love
tell you
each
something?
other.
I don't think you are survivors, because I often talk about surviving something, you know, what's coming or whatever I'm spooking the audience with and being made fun of by Jon Stewart. I always say, you're not going to survive. You're going to thrive. I think you guys are burn thrivers. I think you
That's
have.
a good way to put it.
I think you have taken and done much more than survive.
I am now to the point, and I think maybe I'm to this point now that I've forgotten all of whatever the madness and guilt that I've had, but I am grateful.
So it's
for
like
this.
childbirth, because I think,
Yes,
yeah,
that's a good
because
point.
I think
You-
God does some sort of wicked magic on,
I
because
know.
women are like screaming, "I want to kill you,"
Yeah,
and then the baby comes out, they're like, "We got to have another."
Let's do it again. It's totally
Sounds so
true.
familiar.
It's totally true.
We're the ones on earth that are here going, "Don't you remember?"
I know. Yeah, but
It's a good thing, though. Otherwise, we'd only have one child instead of
know.
the other three.
But I'm grateful for it now. I can honestly tell you, and my kids ask me all the time, well, don't you want to just go back just to how it was before? And I don't. I really don't. I have been blessed beyond comprehension that anyone could ever have everything in the whole world and they wouldn't have what I have. Even though I deal with pain regularly, I am just so, you know, honored to have this, to be given this opportunity, and I see it that way.
How do you see it?
I
That's
see
an
it.
amazing thing your wife has just said.
I see it the same way. I remember thinking there was a point where all you can do is live in the moment and just talk about how bad this sucks and how our life has changed and everything about our life has changed. But it was soon after when Stephanie woke up and we started talking about it and processing our feelings together. We got to the point where it was hard to wish it away because of the way our family had grown, the way that our family had rallied around us as we healed, the influence of the blog and people all over the world who are, a lot of them are strangers, total strangers to us who live in other countries but read her blog. We were on the receiving end of their prayers and faith in our behalf. And that experience alone, to me,
Yeah, that's
seems
pretty.
worth it all.
That's
It was
pretty.
a remarkable experience.
It's an actual tangible feeling.
Stephanie and I both made the same observation when we came to after being woken from the coma, that we could actually feel people's prayers. And it
No,
was,
you
that's
remember when
amazing.
George Bush used to say that after September 11th?
Yeah.
He used to say, I can feel your prayers. I can tell you that's true. I can feel them too. It's amazing, isn't it? It's really amazing how you can feel it. And you know when he's attending. I don't know if he's ever, sometimes he's done it now twice to me here recently, where after 8/28, after I did the Restoring Honor event, he kind of left me go for like a vacation or something. I don't know what it was. And I was just thinking about this today. I missed him a great deal. You know, you can develop such a nice relationship, and you're used to having that, and you're used to feeling the prayers of others that just help you so much. It's an amazing feeling. I want to talk a little bit about the role God played in your life, and then any tips on, how to survive. I kind of feel guilty about like whining about anything at this point. And the audience has questions too, and we'll do that next.
Okay.